I saw a text message received on my husband Kelsey's phone. He had booked a luxurious 10-day tour of Europe for the National Day holiday. I smiled. He always liked to play these mysterious surprises. However, until the National Day arrived, the surprise never came. He told me that he had official business and needed to go on a business trip. As a result, I saw a post on his secretary's moments. The lover's kiss under the Bridge of Sighs in Venice. You kissed my lips and won my heart. The accompanying picture was a passionate kiss photo of Kelsey and his secretary, Doris. I saved the picture and sent it to Kelsey's family group, saying, "Congratulations, you're going to have a new daughter-in-law." Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe us to read wonderful novels every day. Now the story begins. Kelsey's family group exploded. Everyone popped up one after another. My mother-in-law, Daisy. Is this a misunderstanding? Kelsey's cousin. My brother really knows how to have fun. My aunt immediately marked the cousin. Kids, don't talk nonsense. My sister-in-law. Why does this woman look so familiar? Kelsey's cousin's sister. She's probably my cousin's secretary. That Doris. Everyone fell silent. After a while, Kelsey sent a message in the group. Doris lost a truth or dare game and had to send a kissing photo. I'm her boss, and I couldn't bear to see the little girl embarrassed. So I helped her out. Everyone, let it go. Kelsey quickly called me on my phone. Daisy, don't be like a child. Okay, how could you send such a photo to the family group? You know that the Kelsey family is a big clan, and our grandparents are very traditional. Hurry up and take the photo back. I said in a flat tone. Is this photo something that can't be shown to others? I think it's a good shot, and the caption matches well too. Kelsey's tone became impatient. I told you it was just a game she lost in truth or dare. What are you arguing with a little girl for? I sat up straight and said seriously. She kissed my husband. Of course I have to care about it. In such a delicate situation, if you didn't have that kind of intention at all, you wouldn't have indulged her in doing this. Kelsey, I hope you don't do anything wrong. His voice softened. Okay, I'll definitely pay attention next time. I'll bring you a gift when I'm back from the business trip. I looked at the time and asked him, how many days are you going to be on the business trip before you come back? He told me the time, which was exactly the time of the 10-day tour group sent by the travel agency. Kelsey, in the end, still betrayed our marriage. A few days later, when Kelsey came back, I went to the airport to pick him up. It wasn't that I was clingy. Today was a family gathering of the Kelsey family, and we, as a couple, had to show up together. Kelsey came out pushing a cart full of luggage, and behind him was a sweet and delicate Doris. Seeing me, Doris timidly took a step back. Kelsey gently put his arm around me and kissed my cheek. Honey, you've worked hard. There was still a hint of a woman's fragrance on his breath, probably from just having kissed someone. I turned my face away and saw a trace of red mark on his shirt collar. But I didn't say anything. Kelsey looked calm. Honey, let's send Doris first, and then go home together. As he spoke, he casually opened the door of the passenger seat and explained that Doris got carsick. Doris sat in the passenger seat and glanced at me, looking cautious. Mr. Kelsey, why don't I just take a taxi and go? Kelsey held my hand and said domineeringly, it's too dangerous for a little girl like you to be alone at night. It's on the way to send you anyway. On the way. It's more than 10 kilometers out of the way. If you say it's on the way, then so be it. My gaze met Doris's in the rearview mirror. There was a sense of confrontation, along with mutual understanding and the thoughts of a woman. I lowered my eyes and said softly, we're only the two of you on the business trip. Kelsey said casually, no. Other colleagues took different flights. Before getting out of the car, Doris handed me a box and tilted her head. Mrs. Kelsey, this is a gift for you. Mr. Kelsey said you like shawls. I hope you like it. I just don't know if the color suits you. Kelsey chuckled. Daisy is a bit older. Unlike you young girls who like lively colors, this is just right. Hearing this, I felt a slight lump in my throat and let out a soft sigh. As soon as the car door closed, I sat up straight and moved a bit further away from Kelsey. He frowned. What's wrong? I handed him a mirror and let him look at himself. He soon noticed the lipstick mark and frowned a bit. But he explained to me, Doris lost her balance when getting off the plane just now, and I helped her. Maybe that's when it happened. I took a deep breath, turned my head to look at him, with some sadness and an indescribable meaning. Kelsey, we've been married for 7 years. Before There was never a situation where a secretary lost her balance and rubbed lipstick on you. Since when have female secretaries accidentally sprayed perfume or rubbed lipstick on you? He was silent for a while, then said apologetically, "Okay, I'll pay attention in the future." I held my breath in my heart. Although our marriage was a business arrangement, we dated for 2 years before getting married, so we weren't without feelings. After 7 years of marriage, it now feels like it's coming to an end. Before getting out of the car to meet Kelsey's family, he grabbed my arm and looked a bit serious. "Are you angry?" "Why?" "Because I didn't spend the national day with you and went on a business trip with my secretary." "When did you become so unreasonable? You're starting to be as willful as a little girl. You know our company is at a crucial moment of transformation. I really don't have the time to guess what's on your mind. I flew abroad and was busy for 10 days. I'm really tired. You need to be a qualified Mrs. Kelsey, not someone who shows her emotions on her face like this." I suddenly got impatient with playing this act with him and shook off his hand. A luxurious 10-day tour of Europe for the National Day. A business trip. Kelsey, am I the only fool in the world? Was the kiss under the bridge of sighs sweet? Do you like her heart? I pushed the car door open and didn't look back. After playing the perfect couple tonight, let's separate for a while and calm down on our own. After the family gathering ended, I was so tired that I was almost exhausted. Pretending to be the perfect couple was both physically and emotionally draining. When I got home, I took a bath, put on my pajamas, and came out to apply body lotion. Kelsey gently hugged me from behind and coaxed me. "Honey, I was wrong. I won't pay attention to her anymore. If you don't like it, I'll transfer her to a branch office." "Okay." I broke free from his embrace. "Kelsey, don't hug me with the fragrance and lipstick of another woman on you." As soon as I broke free, he hugged me again. "I was wrong. Will you accompany me to take a shower again? You can even peel the skin off me." Then he kissed me, just as I was about to slap him. His phone rang. I took a look, and the caller ID was "Little Cutie." On the phone was Doris's sweet voice with a hint of crying. "Mr. Kelsey, what should I do? There are some wrong data in the documents I brought back, and I don't know how to fix them. The contract is going to be signed tomorrow. What should I do?" Her voice was filled with fear and also the dependence of a young girl on a superior. Kelsey frowned and replied, "What's wrong with you? How could you be so careless? You stay at home, and I'll come right away." After hanging up the phone, he turned around, put on his coat, and told me, "This contract is very important. I have to keep an eye on it myself. You go to bed first and don't wait for me." After saying that, he rushed out into the cold wind, not even remembering to wear his scarf. I sat quietly on the sofa, hearing the notification sound of my phone. I opened it and saw a new post on Doris's Moments. "A serious man is the most handsome, whether he's doing things or something else." The photo above showed Kelsey painting nail polish on Doris's nails under the lamp. The last bit of hope in my heart finally died. I locked the door, put on an eye mask and earplugs. It was impossible for him to come back tonight. The next morning, while I was having breakfast, the maid asked me, "Won't sir have breakfast?" I put down my cutlery, thought for a moment, and said, "You probably don't need to make breakfast for him in the future. I don't think he'll be home for breakfast much anymore." I picked up my phone and opened it. Sure enough, Doris had posted another photo on her Moments, which was full of the flavor of daily life. Kelsey was sitting at a roadside stall. There were soy milk and steamed buns on the table, and the steam was misting his face, giving it a hazy look. There were 2 pairs of chopsticks and 2 bowls on the table. The caption was, "The happiness of the mundane world is being with you." This showing off of affection just wouldn't stop. How picky is Kelsey about food? He's allergic to dairy products and peanuts. As soon as he eats something unclean, he'll immediately get gastroenteritis. The chefs in our house have higher requirements than those in 5-star hotels. He doesn't eat the breakfast comparable to that in a 5-star hotel but goes to eat at a roadside stall. It seems that he's really blinded by love and has lost his mind. I finally couldn't resist and liked the post. Soon, this Moments post was deleted. My prediction soon came true. Kelsey was sent to the hospital because of vomiting and diarrhea. When I arrived at the hospital, Kelsey was squinting his eyes, looking pale, and getting an injection. His secretary was crying beside him with red and swollen eyes, looking 100 times more heartbroken than I. His wife, Kelsey, was still unconscious. When Doris saw me, she immediately stood up and said in a low voice, I'm sorry, Mrs. Kelsey. It's all my fault. I reached out to stop her. Of course it's your fault. You played a big part in getting him hospitalized. Have you thought about how to explain to the Kelsey family how you managed to get Kelsey into the hospital all by yourself? Daisy, it has nothing to do with Doris. At this moment, Kelsey woke up and said weakly. Doris rushed over and stood by the bed, her eyes as red as a little rabbit's. I really didn't know you couldn't eat at roadside stalls. How about I cook for you myself next time? Kelsey stopped her from saying more. You can go back first. I don't need you to take care of me here. I stood up from the sofa and stopped Doris from leaving. No, let her take care of you. I don't think anyone can take care of him better than she can. I have something urgent to deal with in the company and don't have the time to stay in the hospital. Kelsey quickly explained. I was busy correcting the data all night last night. This morning, Doris felt guilty and treated me to breakfast. Don't misunderstand. I picked up my bag and was about to leave, shaking my head to stop his explanation. It's your Kelsey Group's business to keep a secretary who's good for nothing. It has nothing to do with me. But my husband spent the whole night correcting data with another young girl. And then he was hospitalized because of the so-called happiness of the mundane world in the morning. I can't help but be unhappy. So, I don't want to see you today. Behind me, I heard Doris's worried voice. It's all my fault. How about I go and explain? Let Mrs. Kelsey not be angry. Kelsey comforted her in a hoarse voice. Stop crying. If you cry anymore, you'll really look like a little rabbit. At night, because of my mother-in-law's various concerns and hints, I realized how difficult it is to be a daughter-in-law in a wealthy family. Fortunately, I won't be one for much longer. In the end, I still brought a nourishing soup to the hospital. The door of the VIP ward was slightly ajar. When I got to the door and was about to push it open, I heard voices inside. Kelsey, I kissed you because I really love you. I don't mind that you're married, and I don't want you to marry me either. I just want to be by your side. Don't transfer me away. Okay, please, don't abandon me. It was a delicate and pitiful crying voice that made one's heart break. I peeked through the crack of the door. Doris, with tears all over her face, was leaning against Kelsey, looking up at him as if looking at a god. With a face full of admiration and adoration, she gently raised her face and kissed his lips. Please. Finally, she got a response. From a gentle tentative kiss to a deep kiss. A long and intoxicating deep kiss that made the two of them lost in it and unable to extricate themselves. With a bang, the thermos in my hand dropped directly to the ground, making a huge noise, and the two people who were kissing passionately inside were startled and immediately separated. Seeing me standing at the door, Kelsey was stunned, and Doris blushed and shrank behind Kelsey. Kelsey pulled out the needle in his hand, jumped up, and grabbed me to explain. I slapped him across the face, knocking his face to the side. Get out of my way. Doris rushed over and stood in front of him. Mrs. Kelsey, how could you hit someone? It's all my fault. If you want to hit someone, hit me. I looked at the two of them and felt a wave of nausea. I didn't want to say a word more and turned around to leave. Daisy, it's not what you think. I turned around sharply. If it's not what I saw, then what is it? A 5-minute passionate kiss. What are you going to tell me? That you have a good relationship as colleagues, or that you were just comforting a scared little girl? Don't touch me. Kelsey, you make me feel sick. I'll ask the lawyer of the Scott family to contact you. Kelsey, I want a divorce from you. Kelsey kept chasing me into the elevator. I hit him with my bag and pushed him out. Get out. Don't stay in the elevator with me. I even think your breath is dirty when I'm in the same space as you. Kelsey's face turned pale. He stood dumbfounded at the elevator entrance, watching the elevator door slowly close, and seeing the look of disappointment in my eyes that could almost kill him. When my elevator reached the first floor, Kelsey, wearing a hospital gown, was panting as he ran down the stairs and stopped me at the hospital entrance. Honey, I don't want a divorce. Don't say angry words. We can't get a divorce. Listen to my explanation. I shook him off. Is it a misunderstanding? Do you want me to forgive you? Which sentence do you think you have the nerve to say? Kelsey, I'm so disappointed in you. Kelsey held my hand tightly and wouldn't let go. No, I admit I did something wrong. I lost my mind. Maybe I felt a bit bored. She's young and fresh, and I was temporarily bewitched and deviated from my heart. But Daisy, don't cry. When I saw you just now, I finally realized that the person I love the most is only you. It was just a casual affair with her. I looked at him coldly. A casual affair. Your act just never ends. Kelsey, are you an actor? Why don't you become an actor? You'll be the next best actor. What did you say? You said our relationship was just a casual affair. Doris came chasing down in the elevator. When the elevator door opened, she just happened to hear Kelsey's words. Her tears fell like beads. And she stared straight at Kelsey. Were all the words you said last night false? Were the words you said you loved me in bed also false? Was it false when you said she was boring? Was it false when you said you would divorce and marry me? What should I do? I love you so much. I will really die without you. She was crying pitifully. Before Kelsey could comfort her, he was about to chase after me as soon as he saw me leaving. There was a burst of exclamation behind him, and Doris softly fainted to the ground. Doris. Kelsey rushed over and held her in his arms. He turned back to look for me in a hurry, only to find that I had already opened the car door and driven away. Daisy. Kelsey shouted loudly, but there was no one to answer him anymore. My fiery temper is inherited from my father. I'm resolute and decisive. When I got back to the home I shared with Kelsey, I called a professional moving company and started to clean up and pack all my things in the Kelsey family. The old servant of the Kelsey family was so anxious that he was running around in circles. He called Kelsey, but his phone was turned off. Then he called my mother-in-law and father-in-law. I didn't answer their calls. Instead, I sent a video to the Kelsey family group. This time, no one came out to say anything. It was a high-definition video of Kelsey and Doris's 5-minute passionate kiss. Both their emotions and words were quite in place, full of passion and enthusiasm. I sent a message. Doesn't such love deserve my blessing for them? Then, I clicked to exit the group chat. From today on, I'm no longer a member of the Kelsey family and have no connection with the Kelsey family at all. Kelsey had turned off his phone and knew nothing about this. He didn't know that outside his little love universe, the whole world had been in an uproar. When I got home, my father jumped up and wanted to go to the hospital to break Kelsey's legs. My brother called the partnered company with a cold face and threatened that whoever did business with the Kelsey family would become the enemy of the Scott family from then on. The lawyer team of the My family was busy all night clearing up our premarital property and postmarital property and formulating the divorce agreement. And Doris was still naively posting on moments. I like seeing the way you wake up beside me in the morning. The photo showed Kelsey's sleeping face. It could be seen that the two of them had a quite satisfying sleep. I was happy to see this. I saved it with just a few clicks and gave it to the lawyer together. I really liked the straightforwardness of young girls towards love. They like to show off and post everything on moments. It's really convenient to find evidence this way. Kelsey didn't want to get a divorce, but now it wasn't up to him. The division of the cooperation between the two families was in progress, and it was discussed and handled by my father and my father-in-law. The division of the cooperation between the two groups was no small matter. After Kelsey was discharged from the hospital, he came to my house every day to see me. Every time, he was driven out by my brother and wasn't even allowed to enter the door. However, he still insisted on coming, without fail. My mother couldn't stand it anymore. She said to him with a disappointed look, "You said you loved Daisy, but you were flirting around with others and committed infidelity and betrayal. If you said you don't like Daisy, then why are you acting like this now? Why bother?" He knelt in front of my mother and begged her, "Mom, please let me see Daisy. I'm sincere to her. I was really muddle-headed and made mistakes again and again. Please let me see Daisy. She can't not give me a chance to correct my mistakes. I will explain it to her properly." My mother sighed and shook her head. "Go back. Daisy said she won't see you again unless you sign the divorce agreement." It was useless for him to kneel to death in my house. I wasn't even at home at all. I started a spontaneous trip with my best friend. My best friend tilted her head to look at me, her eyes shining. She smiled and said, "You've just been staying at home after getting married and have become silly. You don't know how wonderful the outside world is." We went to Jade Dragon Snow Mountain to see the snow, went to Shangri-La, and went to Qinghai Lake. I was captivated by the beautiful scenery, and the depression in my heart was completely swept away. All that was left was a good mood. The answers are all on the road, and freedom is in the wind. I firmly refused to be a fool in love. During this period, Doris frequently appeared as Kelsey's girlfriend. The figures of Kelsey and Doris could often be seen in the Moments posts that my friends sent to me. I found it somewhat ridiculous. It seemed that Kelsey's brain had been eaten by a dog. He refused to get a divorce on one hand and was swaggering around with his mistress on the other. Was he afraid that others wouldn't know he had committed infidelity? It was already 2 months later when I returned to City A. When I arrived at the airport, I actually saw Kelsey. He was holding a bouquet of flowers and waiting for me at the airport. He came up to me with a gentle look on his face. "Honey." I took a step back and looked at him coldly. "There's no need for this between us. Kelsey, why haven't you signed the divorce agreement after 2 months? Aren't you having a great time with your mistress every day? Why are you dragging me along? Isn't it better to let us each live our own lives?" Kelsey's eyes dodged a bit, and he looked somewhat guilty. "We've been husband and wife for so many years. Don't you have any nostalgia for the old days at all? I really need you." I laughed. "You don't need me. What you need is just a wife who can bring you prestige and earn you face. And I'm tired of being in that position." What he wanted was my identity as the eldest daughter of the Scott family, which could help him gain face in the Kelsey family and make him look good during social interactions outside. Where else could he find such a wife? If it weren't for his good looks in the first place, I wouldn't have been so deceived. The women he's with now, apart from having fun, can't do anything else. I pushed my luggage and walked past him sideways, leaving without looking back, regardless of how ugly his face was. The next day after I got home, Doris came to me and asked me to meet her. I didn't even need to guess to know that this meeting was just a plot to persuade me to get a divorce and break up quickly. But I still went. Before she could speak, I raised my hand to stop her. "I want to divorce Kelsey even more than you think. So, you'd better find a way to persuade him to sign the agreement. Otherwise, how are you going to be Mrs. Kelsey? By taking the initiative and leaving others with no way out." Doris was so stunned by my words that she couldn't say anything for a long time. She lowered her head, pursed her lips, and twisted her fingers in front of her. Then, it took her a long time to muster up the courage to say, "I know you won't get back together with him and that you're going to get a divorce. That's not why I'm looking for you. It's because Kelsey has another woman." Huh. I was stunned. After thinking for a long time, I started laughing out loud. "So what? Why are you telling me this? Do you expect me to help you deal with the other woman? Don't worry, I don't even take you. The mistress. Seriously, let alone the other mistresses. In my eyes, you're all the same, and I don't care about you at all. To be honest with you, you're worthless in his eyes. You don't understand the life of the wealthy. They will only marry someone from a similar background. Do you think the Cinderella story will happen to you? Stop dreaming, little girl. Being too naive will only make you look stupid. The wealthy family will never accept a daughter-in-law like you, someone without a good family background, who became the mistress and has nothing to offer." Doris collapsed and shouted loudly, "But I'm pregnant with Kelsey's child. But I haven't seen him for a week. I peeked at his phone and found out that he has someone else outside. He likes another woman now." After saying that, she covered her face and cried, full of grievances. "What should I do? I can't find him anywhere. I have nothing now. I only have him." Seeing my look of glee, she suddenly looked at me suspiciously. "Could it be that you asked someone to pretend to seduce Kelsey? How could you be so vicious? Since you can't win him back yourself, you found someone else to disgust me." I looked at her indignant eyes and said coldly, "Are you out of your mind?" Seeing my expression, she was even more certain that she had guessed the truth. Pointing at me angrily, she said, "You're so evil, Daisy. I'm telling you, if I don't have a good time, neither you nor that little vixen will have a good time either." It was as if she didn't consider herself a vixen. I was too impatient to listen anymore. I stood up. "I have no interest in your affairs with Kelsey, and I'm not as bored as you. Please don't bother me again in the future." After saying that, I turned around and left. As a result, I underestimated Doris. She hired someone to follow and secretly take photos of Kelsey and that girl. She found out that the girl was actually a college student still studying. She found out the girl's school and major and sent all the intimate photos of the girl and Kelsey to the school's official website forum, demanding an explanation from the school. It was really despicable for a female college student to seduce a married man. The girl was called in for a talk by the school leaders and was required to immediately stop this unethical behavior and publicly apologize. The girl didn't agree. How could she give up now that she had finally attached herself to Kelsey? A big shot. Subsequently, in order to quell the scandal, the school expelled the girl from school. Kelsey called my house. He sighed on the phone. "Daisy, I've said that as long as you're willing to give me a chance, we can start over. And I'll break off all my relationships. Since you're not willing to give me a chance, why did you take action to suppress a young girl? Caroline is only 20 years old, and she doesn't know anything. I felt the blood rush to my head, and I was so angry that I wanted to swear. Kelsey, get this straight. When I said I think you're dirty, it means that I feel disgusted even when I hear your name. Do you think I would still care about your affairs? Do you think I would still meddle in the affairs of your mistresses? You think too highly of yourself. Also, all the evidence of your infidelity has now been collected by the lawyer. If you don't sign the divorce agreement, don't blame me for setting more conditions later. Do you want to leave the marriage with nothing? Finally, Kelsey signed the divorce agreement. A month later, we officially got a divorce. Kelsey looked at me with a mixture of regret and some indescribable feelings. Finally, he just smiled and said, "Let me send you home one more time. Just like we did when we were in love before." Okay. I took a step back and shook my head. Kelsey, I once liked you very much and thought that we would grow old together. But we've still come to this. Since we're divorced, that's it. There's no need to entangle with each other anymore. In the future, take care of yourself. I don't know if he will understand what I mean. He has a lot of romantic affairs. He thinks he can flirt around without getting involved. But he doesn't know that some beautiful flowers are poisonous. Sure enough, as soon as Doris learned about Kelsey's divorce, she started pressuring him to marry her. How could Kelsey marry her? It's okay to have some fun with her, but the position of Mrs. Kelsey must belong to a young lady from a prominent family. Doris finally understood what I meant. Doris appeared at the press conference of the 30th anniversary celebration of Kelsey Group, caressing her obviously pregnant belly. She stood behind the journalists, snatched a microphone from a journalist, and asked, "I want to ask Mr. Kelsey, are you going to take responsibility for the child in your girlfriend's belly?" As soon as this question was asked, all the eyes in the audience turned towards her, and all the cameras were pointed at her face and belly. Kelsey's father's face turned dark, and Kelsey stood there with a stiff face and didn't say a word. A group of journalists immediately rushed forward to interview. "Mr. Kelsey, what's your relationship with this lady? I heard that she was Mr. Kelsey's former secretary. Did you develop feelings after the divorce? Did you, Doris, become the mistress and then try to take the legitimate position? How many months pregnant are you?" Doris, a female journalist who had been a mother, asked sharply. "Doris, your belly looks 4 or 5 months big." "Right. Mr. Kelsey has only been divorced for less than a month. Were you having an affair during the marriage? Did Mr. Kelsey get a divorce because of you?" The public relations department of Kelsey Group immediately stepped in to quell the interview storm. Kelsey finally regained his senses and said, "Of course I will take responsibility. I've just been waiting for an opportunity to plan a proposal. I will definitely inform everyone when there's good news." The press conference of Kelsey Group's anniversary celebration was broadcast live. This live broadcast was equivalent to directly announcing that the reason for Kelsey's divorce was his infidelity. In the past, the company's stock would always rise sharply after the anniversary celebration. But this year, due to Kelsey's infidelity scandal, the stock of Kelsey Group plummeted all the way. It hit the daily limit for a week in a row, causing the assets of the Kelsey family to shrink by half. The elders of the Kelsey family were furious. It was said that Kelsey knelt in front of the ancestral tablets for a whole day. Doris moved into Kelsey's house. Although there was no wedding, it was enough to make her arrogant. After losing face at the press conference, Kelsey seemed to have given up completely. He actually let himself go and changed his female companions every day. Doris did move into Kelsey's house, but she didn't know how many houses Kelsey had. It was quite common for her not to see Kelsey for a whole week. Moreover, she had forgotten that she wasn't the only woman in Kelsey's life. At the annual banquet of the High Group, all the prominent people in City A attended. Kelsey attended the banquet with that girl, Caroline. When Kelsey saw me coming in with my male companion, he was taken aback. He stepped forward and greeted me tentatively. "Daisy, who is this?" I smiled slightly, took my companion's arm, and said, "This is my boyfriend, Ivan. He's not from this circle, so he probably doesn't have much in common with you." "I'm sorry." Then I dragged my boyfriend away. Kelsey took a step forward and blocked our way. "When did you two meet? Did you go on a trip with him? Did you want a divorce because of him?" Ivan replied to him gracefully and gently. "Mr. Kelsey, I've been pursuing Daisy for the past month. Fortunately, I'm blessed by fate. We fell in love at first sight. And I'm very lucky that she agreed to be my girlfriend. I think you've really thought too much about us. I smiled and said, Mr. Kelsey has a complicated mind and a complicated life. Look, the tigress at home is rushing over. Sure enough, Doris, who was heavily pregnant, came running over from a distance. She threw the wine in her hand at Caroline and shouted, You shameless vixen, how dare you seduce my husband? After being expelled from school, Caroline had been living in the house that Kelsey bought for her. She was obedient and well-behaved, and she didn't even demand a proper status. As a result, Kelsey liked her even more. Seeing Doris's shrewish behavior, Kelsey held Caroline and dodged the splashing wine. He grabbed Doris's hand that was about to fight and said, What do you think you're doing? Caroline hid behind him and said timidly and weakly, Kelsey, I'm scared. It was her who made me drop out of school last time, and now she wants to hit me. I don't know what to do if you weren't here. Doris pointed at her and cursed. Stop pretending to be an innocent girl here. I've used these tricks before. You're not qualified to play them in front of me. Then she looked at Kelsey, started crying with her body trembling, looking pitiful and endearing. Husband, I'm about to give birth to your child, but there's no one at home. Do you want me and the baby to die? Kelsey frowned and said angrily, You've been so difficult to deal with that you drove away all the servants and nannies at home. Now you're blaming it on there being no one at home. You drove them all away, so you can just stay by yourself. After moving into Kelsey's house, Doris had been causing all sorts of trouble, bossing the servants around. She complained every day that this wasn't done well and that wasn't suitable for a pregnant woman and needed to be redone, making all the servants in the house full of grievances. Later, they all went back to the old mansion and didn't want to stay there anymore. Doris was so angry that her eyes turned red. She touched her belly and shouted loudly, When you used to coax me, everything I said was right. Now, everything I say is considered being difficult. It's just that you're tired of the old and fond of the new. You dislike me because I'm pregnant and find me annoying. Caroline showed her face from behind and said, Since you know that, why are you still here causing trouble? She showed a hint of a provocative smile at the corner of her mouth where Kelsey couldn't see. Just as Doris was about to take a step forward, she suddenly felt a sharp pain in her belly. She had probably agitated the fetus. She bent over, holding her belly, and said, Kelsey, my belly hurts so much. I pointed at the ground and exclaimed, Oh, Doris's water has broken. Call an ambulance quickly. Sure enough, there was a wet patch on the ground under Doris's feet. She had agitated the fetus. Her water had broken, and she was going to give birth prematurely. Fortunately, the hotel was well equipped. The hotel's medical staff immediately appeared to help her and called an ambulance. After being taken to the hospital, Doris gave birth prematurely to Kelsey's eldest son. The incident at the banquet caused a great stir. It was said that the Kelsey family sent a housekeeper and a nanny with nourishing soup to take care of Doris. They also took the little young master back to Kelsey's family and told Doris, We're taking the young master back to pay respects to the ancestors. Doris was very happy. Her child was recognized by the Kelsey family, which meant that she was also recognized. But she soon couldn't be happy anymore because Kelsey never showed up. And after the child was taken away, he wasn't brought back. The people from the Kelsey family also didn't appear again. She finally realized that she had been abandoned. She wanted to call the police, but the police said that it was normal for the child's father and grandparents to take the child away. This was a family internal conflict, and they could only mediate. The most important thing was to see how they negotiated among themselves. Doris had just given birth and was suddenly stimulated by this matter. She became hysterical, and the doctor said that she had suffered from postpartum depression and couldn't be stimulated anymore. After being discharged from the hospital, she quietly returned to Kelsey's house. She didn't make any noise or cause any trouble. The Kelsey family didn't treat her badly either. They continued to send people to serve her and told her that as long as she was obedient and didn't cause trouble, she could keep living like this as long as she was good. On the day of the child's full moon, the Kelsey family held a grand banquet at the old mansion. The dishes, chefs, and staff were all brought by the hotel. I had divorced Kelsey, but there was still some cooperation between the Scott family and the Kelsey family that couldn't be easily separated for the time being. So we still had to maintain the facade. I accompanied my brother to attend the Kelsey family's full moon banquet. When everyone was in high spirits, someone asked, Hey, Where's your precious grandson? Why don't you bring him out for us to see? Kelsey's mother was about to call the nanny when the nanny ran out and shouted, "Madam, something's wrong. The child is missing." Kelsey's mother was so panicked that she was completely stunned. No one has gone out. How could he be missing? He's only 1 month old. Can he run away by himself? Someone in the courtyard let out a scream and pointed at the rooftop, shouting, "There's someone up there holding the child and threatening to jump off the building." It was Doris. She had sneaked into the Kelsey family's house wearing the clothes of a hotel staff member, found the child, and carried him to the rooftop. Someone was filming. I saw Kelsey also rushing to the rooftop. Kelsey coaxed in a trembling voice, "What are you going to do? Doris, don't be impulsive. Be good. What do you want to do with the child? Come down quickly." Doris seemed not to have heard him at all. She held the child and hummed a song. "Baby, don't be afraid. Mom is here. Mom will always be with you." Kelsey moved slowly and soothed her. "Doris, calm down. Whatever you want, just say it. I can satisfy you. Put the child down first." Doris finally looked at him. She was completely crazy. "Liar. You've lied to me. You made me lose my job, my life, and I even gave birth to a child. I've also lost my freedom. And you never intended to marry me. Daisy was right. You would never marry me. You would only marry a woman from a well-matched family. I was just your plaything in your spare time. Since I can't get what I want, neither can you. You can't take my son away either. He's my life. I will always be with him, whether it's in heaven or hell." After saying that, she jumped down with the child in her arms. Everyone let out a scream. Kelsey's face turned pale. He rushed forward to try to stop them, but it was impossible. Doris and the child fell straight to the ground, and the scene was in chaos. Doris and the child lost their breath on the spot. I couldn't help but sigh. The poor child. Kelsey's mother covered her chest and fainted directly. Kelsey rushed downstairs. It seemed that he slipped and rolled down the stairs violently. He had fractures of different degrees on his body. As if he didn't feel the pain, he was helped downstairs while dragging his leg. He stared blankly at Doris and the just 4-month-old child on the ground. Suddenly, his legs gave way, and he knelt down on the ground. Doris. The incident of someone dying at the Kelsey family's full moon banquet spread throughout City A. Kelsey had an affair with his secretary and got her pregnant. But then he abandoned her and didn't want to marry her, which led to the female secretary suffering from postpartum depression and jumping off the building with the child. The culprit was Kelsey. This irresponsible man. Kelsey's cousin's sister. She's probably my cousin's secretary. That Doris. Kelsey's father was so angry that he had a cerebral infarction. The company was handed over to Kelsey to manage. A series of blows had already broken him down. Later, due to Kelsey's stubbornness, wrong decisions, as well as the corruption and serious internal struggles in the management of Kelsey Group, the company fell into a bankruptcy crisis. Our Scott family took the opportunity to acquire a large number of Kelsey Group's stocks and became the richest family in City A overnight. The next time I saw Kelsey was at my engagement banquet with my boyfriend. He limped over and gave a gift. I looked at him wearing a cheap suit, looking haggard, completely lacking the elegance and charm he used to have as a young master. He gave me a gentle hug. "Daisy, be happy." Then he looked at Ivan deeply. "Take good care of her. Don't be a fool like me." After saying that, he turned around and left. Ivan teased, "Your ex-husband still can't forget you." I arranged the bouquet in my hand and smiled. "Of course, I'm so good. If you don't keep an eye on me carefully, this free bird will fly away soon." Ivan held my hand tightly and said softly, "I will definitely hold on and never let go." I held Ivan's hand in return. From then on, I wish to spend the rest of my life in your embrace. The end of the full text.